Hello, Abnormal Adventures. This is our first premiere that we've ever done. We've been talking about doing one for a while. That way we could kind of visit with you guys in the chat while we got to, I guess, listen. So it's kind of going to be a way for us to interact with the subscribers. And we wanted to interact with you guys because we're all family. And we just think it'll be a fun night to where we don't have to monitor trying to do the stories and watch the chat. We can hang out in the chat with you guys and kind of see what your all's reactions are to our premieres. We're going to kind of discuss some of the upcoming events we got coming up. We're going to discuss some of the things of the past. And if Brooks or Scott have any questions or Kaylee about anything, then we can discuss that. And just kind of throwing out some new ideas we got coming up. And I guess that's pretty much it, what we're going to talk about tonight and whatever else comes to mind. Uh, Boots on the ground, guys. I think we need to get back into the boots on the ground. I think that's a big part of who we are.
Absolutely.
I think our channel's lacking by not having that part of the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of took that away a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're known for the boots on the ground. God knows I was attacked for it enough whenever I was doing the boots on the ground. So I think that that's one of the things that we have that we do best is the boots on the ground. If I remember right, the last boots on the ground would have been the one to where I had the black figures, I think, manifesting by me. I believe that was the last boots on the ground we did.
Yeah.
Definitely last one.
And I learned something by doing that boots on the ground. There's a lot of evil that surrounds these cryptids. I know whenever I first started investigating these cryptids, it was my thoughts that these cryptids were, if you will, an unfound animal.
Mm-hmm.
And as you dig further and further into what they really are, you start seeing that there is a spiritual or supernatural side. And then you dig even deeper and deeper. Not only does it start to fit, but the Bible corroborates what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And, in this channel, I try to, I use the Bible as the basis of my investigation because I feel I use a lot of the techniques I learned in school whenever I went to CLEAT for investigating. That when you start an investigation, you always start with what you know is true. Because if you start on something that is false, then you can very easily lead yourself in a false direction, come to a false conclusion, and all. But if you always start with something you know to be true, that's always a good foundation. And to me, the Bible, God's word, is true. So that was what I started basing this channel off of, and my understanding of these creatures and where they come from. And the more and more that you look into these creatures, there's a very evil side to them. I think they've had a hate for us probably since Lucifer was kicked out of heaven.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys. I was going to ask y'all, and Kaylee, I want your opinion on this too. Last night, my mind never shuts off, so y'all know that I'm up all night. I ain't calling you, but I was laying in bed, and I got to wondering, what if the fallen angels? Now, this is just a theory. What if the fallen angels, that whenever they fell, and then they, corrupted the DNA of all these other creatures? What if these fallen angels are, and now this is just a theory, and I know it goes kind of against what we've thought before, but what if these fallen angels are the actual demons? Okay, now I'm gonna give you a hypothesis. God is the creator of everything. I want to throw Sarah in here real quick.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
That's
So,
Sarah.
and Sarah,
Hi.
we'll get your opinion on this also now that you're here.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the fallen angels. We know that the angels fell a
Mhm.
third. Let's just say a third. Okay, what if those angels are the demons? Okay, and I know this will go a little bit, but I got to thinking. God is the creator of everything. Satan cannot create. He does not have the power to create. He only has the power to corrupt.
Mhm.
So if those fallen angels were demons and they had sex with the beast of the field, the fowl, the things of the water, everything was corrupted, right?
Mhm.
If the angels don't have the ability to create, would that make their offspring of whatever, had the baby,
Mhm.
the Nephilim, would
Mhm.
that be just an empty vessel that when it dies, it just dies and the demons are the fallen angels because they cannot create?
Mm-mm. No, I don't agree. The fallen angels are the fallen angels. They're the watchers.
Right,
When they procreated with women and animals, that gave the Nephilim. When the Nephilim at that time died, those spirits are the demons because those spirits and those creations that they made, they can't go to heaven. They're abomination. So they wander the earth, and that's when they can come into people, go into things.
right.
Yeah, but the
So,
fallen angels are the fallen angels. My opinion, what I've learned, they aren't demons.
right,
Because if that were the case, then all the angels would be demons.
right. I had to make a note. I got a question next. So, Sarah,
I might have to agree with Brooks.
Yeah, me too.
Scott.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with Brooks.
Yep.
Okay. So that moves me to my next question. If the Nephilim, whenever they die, and
Mhm.
that they become a demon, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So the Nephilim right now that is out that we know, that we believe, I'm going to say that we know that we believe. We're not forcing this on people, just a theory. But if a Bigfoot
Mhm.
has sex with a female Bigfoot and they have a child, does
Mhm.
that create another demon? Are they able to do that, or is that an empty vessel? Are they given the right to be able to create? Is kind of what I'm getting at.
Evidently so, because you've seen pictures and video of them carrying babies, but
Right,
they would
Right.
still be. They're still going to be an abomination. So when that creature dies, it's going to be a demon because it is in the Nephilim bloodline.
I think
you
that's
think,
how we get our stronger demons too, by recreating.
do you think
Right.
there's a
That's
possibility
possible.
that a Nephilim procreating with another Nephilim, say a Bigfoot with a Bigfoot, and they have that baby? Could that baby be an empty vessel
Mm-mm.
because it does it has it say it has a spirit, not a soul. It it's it's empty. It comes from two things that are an abomination.
Mhm.
Right.
But
I don't know. It just hit me last night, and I was like,
yeah, no, it would still. It's not going to be an empty vessel. It's still got because it's still going to be, moving around and breathing or whatever they do, eat.
right.
It's got
Well,
a, it's got, it's, I wouldn't, it's say a soul. Uh, I mean, if they call them a soul, it's not a soul from God.
Right.
Now I'm going to ask the hard question. This is where we're going to catch probably a lot of controversy
Bring
in this.
Hard question. I'm already.
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, let's say that we all agree that the Nephilim and Nephilim procreating with the Nephilim is going to create another Nephilim, which will create a demon when it dies.
Hmm.
So the argument is going to be, and I'm going to guess probably more from the atheist side and the non-believers, is going to be, how could a God of all love banish a creature to hell for eternal punishment that had no say in it being born or the procreation that brought it here?
Well, number one, God didn't create it.
Right, but I mean, the baby doesn't have a choice in being born. It didn't ask to be
That's
born.
right. Yeah, no, that's right. They all know. I mean, from what they are, I believe personally, they all know that none of them are going to heaven. They know they're unredeemable.
Right. Do you think that that it's fair that the offspring of the Nephilim that didn't have a choice, do you think it's fair that they're born to automatically perish to hell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Because they're an abomination. God didn't create them.
Right.
Right.
And they're gonna grow up
And
like their parents.
and honestly, I don't think that thing, whatever they are, I don't, they're not thinking that way.
I've honestly almost here lately have been calling them beings because it just don't seem like animal fits because
Yeah.
we know that they have a lot of intelligence. We
Hmm.
know that they're very smart.
Hmm.
I would even go as far as to say that they may even have more, I'm not going to say intelligence, but knowledge. I believe that those are two different things. I believe that their knowledge probably far exceeds ours as far as,
Hmm.
you know, they were there and they've always been here. They're eternal.
Hmm.
So they saw the construction of the pyramids. They
Hmm.
they
Right.
they know the past. They know where it came from. And to me, that's scary because
Absolutely. I mean, uh, the fallen angels, and I'm sure what branches down, they all know the Bible inside and out because the people that rebuke them in the name of Jesus, they go off, they leave. So
Right.
they know. They know.
and look at what we found out in the Bible too about Dagon. I never knew that till the other day. A man that was fish from the navel down.
Mhm.
Who would have ever thought, and that Dagon was, said to be the father of what was it, Bel, and that Bel was the one that they believed delivered Samson, to him. I mean, these creatures go really, really. I mean, they are. When we go to the woods, they probably kick out of us, honestly. Uh, a lot of people say that they believe the woods and the desert and everywhere is the dry places to where where they're banished. I watched a lady the other day. They done the baptism on her, and when they dunked her in the creek, behind her was a black mass that came out into the water and then went down the water. It was really wild.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've been spotted. Mermaids have been spotted all over the world and have been since the beginning of ships.
And that just goes to, I think, prove more that the Bible's right because I mean we have Bigfoot reported by the natives, since the beginning. We got mermaids. We've got the large birds of the sky. We've got people talk about the creatures of the sea. These things are everywhere.
Hmm.
It makes you wonder how many people that drowned really drowned because they drowned.
Right.
Hmm.
what's really under that water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say they can pull people off of a ship. The Kraken or giant octopus or the giant squid can use those tentacles to pull people off of boats.
That's one of my fears, is to fall into dark water and
Mm.
not be able to see.
Mm-mm.
No, no, no.
Yep.
That's one of my fears. Total darkness.
Yep. And then have the seaweed or lake
Ugh.
plants around your legs too. That's bad.
Mm,
Or something
no.
drag your feet. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I could handle that at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
I knew I couldn't.
I think we're going to send Sarah to a church and she can videotape an exorcism for us, and we can
I
put that.
think not.
Wouldn't either.
No, I ain't gonna have no part of that.
Mm-mm.
But that was just some of the things that ran through my mind at night while I was laying in there. So the boots on the ground. We've decided we're going to go to the bridge to where my mom had that encounter. This bridge is scary, scary, scary. It has the big old iron top on it. It's got the old railroad tie tracks that you had to stay in. And it's got like the movie Stephen King's It, the big concrete thing over there with the door. And there was a guy I found out today hung himself off of the north side of the bridge. And you're supposed to be able to hear him hang himself. There's supposed to be lights that travel down the water underneath the bridge at night for no reason. Nobody knows what the lights are. And of course, you got the creature that crossed the bridge. It sounded like it had hooves for feet. So
Mm-mm.
it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting.
How far is it from the water to the bridge? What kind of drop is it?
30, 40 foot probably.
Yeah, at least.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good drop.
And the water is deep.
Yeah, I think, Mom, that location's pretty deep, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably 40, 60 foot deep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep river right there. But as it goes on down, it actually runs into what they call the rocks, and it's not deep at all. But that little spot right there is really deep. It's also the same area to where that little boy, he was mentally retarded, and he found a creature out in the woods when he was playing, and he told his mom about it. And his mom thought, that he had an imaginary friend, and he would stay out and play and play and play and play, And then eventually it got where it was later and later and later and later. My granny actually told me the story, and it got so late that the mom would put his dinner plate on the back porch, and he would come and get the dinner and eat it. Well, then it got to where he would just stay out all night, and then the dinner plate would be ate, and then eventually he just stopped coming home. Nobody knows what happened to him.
How old was he?
How old was he, Mom?
He started out probably about 11 or 12.
Around 11 or 12.
And wasn't making him come in the house?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Mm.
They're kind of an odd family.
Mom said they were a kind of an odd family.
Evidently.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would have brought my child back inside.
So, Sarah, what do you think happened to the child?
I think that he was raised with them
You
out
think they
there.
took him?
I think they took him to make him one of their own.
What do you
'Cause,
think?
I mean,
Scott?
he never
Yeah,
came back home.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Either that or he got attacked by something and they just never found the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I kind of think that he might have ended up dinner.
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could. I mean, they could have easily did that and got rid of the evidence.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
That's why they take, a lot of times you hear that they're naked, that the clothes are sitting somewhere and the body's naked, or what's left of it. So they can,
I wonder if they do that to get to our organs easier.
I don't know.
Kind of like us, when we go to eat an animal, we skin it.
Right.
Mhm.
I would hope they're not skinning people. That's
Not
terrible.
alive anyway.
They'll take the wrong turn.
Well, they probably do to a certain extent. I mean, because think about it. A guy is going to have a lot more hair than a female, so they're going to want to cut the hair off of like the arms and the legs and things like that.
Or they could burn it off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Singe it off.
Yep.
Pork rinds.
Ugh.
The other white meat.
Having
Yeah.
potato chips that night.
Well, they say that they human meat tastes like pork.
Ugh.
Well, I ain't
Like-
going to test that theory.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I mean
Like-
either.
Like the movie Bone Tomahawk.
You always bring that movie.
I've
I
already
know
done
it. He's hooked on that movie.
I will never forget that movie.
He's
My
like obsessed
gosh,
with it now.
that was an eye opener though to me. That really made me think.
Mhm.
They done some terrible things.
I found that movie on YouTube.
Did you really?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I found it since they took it off of Netflix.
Mm.
You'll love
I'm
it.
not,
I mean,
I'm not
it's a-
watching it.
it's a good movie. But boy,
You with me, Sarah?
You sure don't
Yeah.
want to be caught. You don't want to be caught by that clan at all.
He's trying so hard to get me to watch it, but I just don't want to. But I'm afraid it's going to turn out like these dang chicken feet I'm going to end up having.
No. Bless your heart. I'm with you.
I finished the chicken feet tonight. I had rice and I ate the rest of them. I put that sweet chili sauce on them, that Chinese sauce. It's kind of hot, sweet. It was really good. I used the
I would've
claws. I used the claws to dip the rice.
Well, somebody said you can use the toenails to pick your teeth.
Yeah.
Scratch your back.
Yeah.
I would have rather eaten a whole jalapeno than eat that.
I would too.
Did
I'm
you have
with
to eat
you.
it, Sarah?
I did. I had to.
What did you think it tasted like?
Nasty. It tasted like a ball of chewy chicken fat with soaked in grease. Ugh. Never again.
No.
It had a lot of gristle in it.
Well, yeah.
You'll have to see
There's no
Sarah.
beef with it, that's for sure. It's skin and bone.
Scott,
the
you'll
big-
watch Sarah at the beginning of the video. She's sitting there looking at it, and I'm going, "Oh, I'm right there with you, Sarah."
It was terrible.
Yeah, she was just going, "Oh, I can't
You
believe I'm
should have
right
seen
here."
them whenever they were boiled.
Ooh,
Like
Well,
it looked like an actual human tiny hand boiled in water. I mean, you could see like the little lines and the knuckles and like the hair little
Mm.
follicles.
No, thank you.
no.
No.
The best part of it was the pad, the bottom of the foot, and between the toes had the most.
Oh, that's disgusting.
That was the best.
It really is. That's bad.
So
That
if
was the only foot I would ever eat in my life, and I'm not trying nothing else's foot ever.
Well, what if we catch a Bigfoot and we all eat its foot and see what it
Uh-uh.
I
tastes?
ain't eating it.
I ain't
turned
either.
into a demon.
No, I'm not eating it either.
Yeah,
No.
I had to boil them for an hour and a half, and then you fry them.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd fry them until they were so crispy they'd fall apart.
Or till they wasn't edible.
There you go. I was gonna say just boil or fry the crap out of them till whoops, they're burned.
You were
No,
probably
they-
hoping the spike burn them, so you didn't have to eat them.
They honestly taste like, you go to a Chinese restaurant and you get their chicken. It has that taste.
The
has
chicken on the
that.
stick.
Yeah, it has that Chinese taste to it. It has that taste.
Sarah eats Chinese professionally, and she says it.
I love Chinese food, and that don't taste nothing like no Chinese chicken.
I thought I would honestly eat it again. I think it would make a very good broth because it's so rich in collagen. I mean, it made a good broth. It was good.
Did you drink that too?
Yeah, I tasted it. Yeah, I tasted it. It was good.
I begged. I was like, "Can I just eat its leg instead of its foot for the video? I will eat its leg."
Well, I told her if she ate it,
Yeah.
she got to pick what I eat next time.
And I mean, you think about it. What's the difference between a leg or a breast and a foot? It's just
Nothing.
the
Yeah.
Nothing really.
idea of it.
Yep,
Or cow-
just
you
like
know,
chicken
cow
liver.
tongue.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
chicken liver.
Oh, I love chicken liver. Yeah.
Yeah, white gravy, white pepper gravy, and
Yep.
Oh,
chicken liver
yeah.
dipped in it. Oh my god!
I think
Or
it's
cow
just the
tongue.
way that it looked, and it was no.
Right?
I know.
Yeah, I
Cow
mean, you're
tongue.
actually looking at a body part that you're eating. It's not like something breaded and cooked like a liver. So yeah,
Well, I mean, how's the liver supposed to look?
well, I'm saying it looks like a fried vegetable or something. It don't look like a foot.
Yeah, and it don't look like it's got fingers growing.
Oh,
I couldn't do that. And even
Those
after
little-
it boils, it swells up whenever you boil it in the water.
Yeah.
So where the toenail is literally looked like the tip of a finger.
yeah. No.
I just chopped them off.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty either. I didn't like you sitting there chopping those. Oh God. No.
Yeah. Scott's gonna have to check that video out for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Let's see. We're gonna go back to that back bridge to where we got that thing growling at us that night. We found out that there's a tunnel right there where that thing was at. So I'm starting to wonder if there's not maybe a cave system under there.
Well,
Could
I
be.
guess Kaylee will have to go down there. You'll just drop her with a cord, drop her down there.
Let her go check it out.
Yeah, let her check it out because she can do it.
I retired from that.
She's retired. Yeah.
I want y'all to go back to the bridge where the little black things were running around and that photograph of that lady in the dress. That just,
Yeah, it'd be neat to go back there and
I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's paranormal, but that was crazy.
Yeah, I
Well,
think we need to go back there too.
well, it's all connected. Whether it's Bigfoot, you're gonna get the paranormal in it too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I was editing that night, that's why I called you guys, because when I seen that, I was like, "What in the world is happening around me?" Because I couldn't see it with my eyes.
Yeah, that was that 4:00 call, Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was sound asleep,
Yeah, I was like, "What in the world is this?"
and we saw it live. We were watching them do it.
Yeah.
You couldn't see them because you were on the ground and didn't have a camera, but yeah, we could see it from Sarah's car. We could see them running all around you.
Yeah. That
And
was
one went out
insane.
there and it got real tall.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, and if they were rats or mice, the headlights were right on you.
Right.
Plus, you had a flashlight too, right?
Oh yeah.
And there is no way, with you standing there with that much light on you, that you would have seen if they were mice or rats or
Well, I mean,
squirrels.
They appeared.
Yeah.
They just came. They didn't come from out of the woods or nothing. They just appeared.
Yeah.
It was
It's like
the
they
craziest
came
thing.
up out of the ground. Yeah.
Right. Every one of them popped up out of the ground and just started running all around Mike, but they would not get next to him or real close to him. But they were running to him and then backing off,
Mm-hmm.
which
And
that
one
means
that
who's
ran out, it
protected.
got bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one got really big.
Oh, when that thing ran into the woods and then started growing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was when you knew you were dealing with very bad demonic entities.
Here's a scary theory for you. Think about this. What if that one that was running around me, what if he had a Bigfoot body laying out there in the woods he came out of, and he ran back over and got into it and stood up?
Ooh.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
You know,
Who
because
knows if they can do that?
a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah.
They use, they use those bodies for vessels.
Mm-hmm.
And right before that happened, remember we sitting in the car, something hit the car first.
Right.
Right.
Because we shook. And I think Sarah had like something on her that moved when we got hit.
It did. Yeah. Yeah. You could see, I think she had a necklace or something on that wiggled or something. And you could see that the car was being pushed by something.
Well,
Right.
see, and Sarah was smart. She stayed in the freaking car and you got out. I wouldn't have got out either if something hit the car.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
I think Sarah's muted. I don't hear her.
Sarah,
Yeah.
are you muted?
You don't have any volume.
Now?
There.
You did.
Oh. No, I was saying that I had on the night vision goggles is what I had on, and you seen the strap shake.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
It hit the car pretty hard. I mean, we went like.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
I
that's
wonder
the
if that
same.
was. I
No,
wonder if
wait,
that
it
was
was
the
the
lady.
second night.
You think that was the lady?
And that wasn't the night that the feather was left on the vehicle. That was a different live.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the second night or something like that whenever we went back. Something
Right.
like that.
Tell them what you saw, Sarah, that lady, because I could not see her.
That's crazy.
It
I
was
couldn't see
just, it was the figure of a lady in like a old time either nightgown or dress that was all ripped up.
Yes.
You could kind of like see her hair a little bit. She had like long hair.
And it was dark, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was almost, well, I guess it was black.
Yeah, because it appeared in the video, the picture you took, it looked like it was a little bit darker than the rest of the figure.
And what's weird is she was in the picture. It looked like she was taking footsteps, but whenever I seen her, it was like she was glitching. You know how like a ghost will move on like the TV screen if you're watching it, how to like glitch and get closer to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is scary enough right there.
Yeah.
You see something glitch and you know it's not normal.
Oh, I knew. I told Mike, I was like, Mike, look, she's right there. He was like, I don't see her.
Yeah, he
like,
never saw her.
She's right there.
That's
and then
crazy.
he was like, well, here, take a picture of her. Take a picture of her. And I did.
Yeah.
Like, she's right there.
You can see her light coming out of the gown as she's walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's plain as day.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in a gown, and it's all threaded around the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen her.
That's crazy.
See, isn't that funny?
I guess they can present themselves how they want to you, or can,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard of people saying that they have somebody can see somebody sitting in the corner, and then the person next to them says, I don't see nobody there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They can, I guess they can show themselves to whoever they want to show themselves to.
Well, that's kind of like, people with haunted houses. Sometimes it starts out, antagonizing one person and they're going, yeah. The rest of the family's going, yeah, right. Okay, your imagination. Until
Right.
then it starts progressing and then they start seeing it.
Yes.
And then they want to do something about it because then they don't think you're crazy.
Yeah.
I was laying in my bed one night, and
Hush.
I thought it was a tooth fairy. And this lady came out of my closet. She turned on the light, opened my closet door, walked out of the closet wearing a red dress, and she grabbed the back of my head. I was probably 13, 12, something like that. Still believed in, in the tooth fairy or whatever. And it raised my head up like this. And then she laid my head back down real easy. Walked, went in the closet, shut the door, turned out the light. I had a pull rope in there. I thought, it was a tooth fairy. I wasn't scared because I believed it was really the tooth fairy. I was like, hey, leave some money, So I was laying there, and then the next night, this is probably the scariest. You would have thought that would have been scarier, but maybe I wasn't so afraid of that at the time because, Sarah went demon.
Sorry.
I wasn't. No,
Went
maybe I
completely red.
Maybe I wasn't so scared because I thought it was the tooth fairy, but there was a lot of trouble in that room with stuff crawling on the floor. Like I would be laying in the bed and there would be stuff crawling around on my floor. It looked like people. And they would pull on my blanket. And I would
Ugh.
always try to pull my blanket up in my sheet so it wouldn't grab it. And whenever I would do it, I could feel like their hand on my leg or on my feet trying to grab the blanket. And I would jump out of the bed and run out of the room. Of course, I get in trouble. They'd tell me, go back to bed. It's a school night. And I was like, I ain't sleeping in there.
Well, no,
And it did it all the time. But there was more than one crawling around. It's like they were crawling around in the floor, crawling under my bed. And the bed I was sleeping in was an old hospital bed. It had the cranks at the bottom where you could crank up the head, or crank up the feet.
right.
And they were going underneath that bed and all around me. And
Yeah.
I had my cousin stay all night one night, and I told him what they were doing. He's like, no way, there ain't nothing in there. And I was like, dude, let's go. He was laying in there. Next thing you know, man, he started screaming. One of them grabbed his foot.
Yep.
So we ended up sleeping in the front room. Yeah, but, the whole house, this was a large house. It was a really big house. I think it was, let's see, it was a 3-bedroom home, but it had a big car garage. I mean, it was a big brick house, but all the paranormal, it only happened in that room.
I bet it was attached to that old hospital bed. The demonic spirits used that bed as a vessel, and they all attached to that bed.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it never, like Mom would send me. I drove since I was little bitty. I was always driving. We lived in a town where the kids drove. It didn't matter how old you was, and we'd be down at Granny's, and Mom, would tell me like, run down to the house, and they would forget something. Run down to the house and grab a pop, or grab some sugar or something. And I would drive our car down there, me and my cousin, and it that house. Whenever you would go inside of it, it's like you were fine when you went inside the house, but when you got what you needed, you had that overwhelming feeling like you needed to run out of the house.
Run. Yeah, run. Yeah.
Yes. And we would run out of the house. You could go in, but it's like as soon as you needed to leave, it was like you felt like you needed to run.
Right.
And I don't know why we felt like that.
They're gonna chase you.
Well,
Yeah.
but it was never really out of that room. It was just a feel. It was like the feeling, like, oh, we went in there one time. Mom had sent us down there, and whenever this house, when you would go into it, you go in the back door and you would walk into like the washroom, and then you'd walk straight and you would go into the kitchen, and then you'd keep walking straight and you would go into the front room, and then there was a hallway, and you had the bathroom on the right, and then all the bedrooms down the hallway. Well, we had to go into the front room and grab something, me and my cousin. And whenever we went in there, that bedroom door I slept in opened all the way up and hit the closet doors. Boom, real loud. And we ran. We were gone.
Well, they tried to like scare you and intimidate you, so.
It worked. I mean, I was gone.
Probably
But-
why you get that feeling.
But there was also an incident that happened down there that I know was not supernatural or anything. It scared me pretty bad. We had like I told you, the garage where you could pull the car in. And Mom would pull her. She had an LTD, Oldsmobile LTD 4-door, the big long. I think it was like a 98 is what they're called. And she would pull it into the garage, and we had a big old chest deep freeze at the end of the garage to pull the car up to. Well, Dad asked me to go out into the garage. I think it was to get a coping saw that night. We were cutting mop handles to make plugs for our shotguns so we could go hunting. And Dad said, go out in the garage and grab that coping saw. So I went out the door. There was 2 steps down into the garage, and they had left the garage door open that night. And I had to walk on the bumper of the car, between the bumper of the car and the ice or the big freezer. I'd balance myself on the freezer and walk on the bumper. And I went to the other side, and I was like, where is that saw? And I was sitting there thinking with my back to the garage door, and then the house door was over to the right. And I remembered all of a sudden where the saw was at, and I was like, oh, I know where it's at. And I turned around, and when I did, there was a large black man standing probably 3 feet from me. He had on like a green cotton shirt like the army. He had on the green camouflage pants, the black boots, and everything. And he threw his arms out like this at me and started doing that like he was trying to get me. I turned around, screamed, and ran. I jumped over and ran across the hood of the car and jumped inside of the house. He took off running, and the dogs chased him around the back of the house.
Wow.
So was it a real person?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. Yeah, it scared the hell out of me.
Oh, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I was gone.
Especially when you go like this.
Well, but okay. This is another weird one that happened in that house, but I think this was somebody. I don't think this was a spirit.
Did they try to juke you?
No, we stayed in my sister's bedroom one day, and my mom and my dad and everybody went down to see my granny, which she lived half a mile from our house, something like that, probably. And we were staying in the bedroom playing the Nintendo. And of course, we locked the door, and we was laying in there playing the Nintendo, and it was one of those evenings, where it had rained all day in the summer, and you had like the orange sunset, but you still had the clouds and a little bit of rain. Kind of one of those days. And we was laying in there, and we were playing, and we heard something walking up the hallway. Well, we knew my mom wasn't home because they would have to drive around the side of the house where our window was at, and we would see them. It started doing this to the door, knocking. And I looked at my cousin, and he's like, don't open that door. And these doors are only those little wooden flimsy doors. It had the door lock on them, or you poke the button in, and it clicks, the little
Right.
door. We had it locked, and it started pushing on the door. We could hear it like the door creaking, like they were trying to push the door open. Scared the hell out of us. Well, we heard a big bang on the door, and we just froze. And then the next thing we knew, we heard the back door shut, like somebody went out. We heard the big door shut, and we heard the storm door shut. And we said, well, they left, whoever they are. So we cracked the door on the bedroom to see what was in the hallway, to see if they'd left. And whenever my cousin pulled the door all the way open, they had took one of my mom's butcher knives and stuck it in our door.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No,
Wow.
thanks.
So that was real people too?
I think so. I mean, we didn't see them. But
Wow.
I always thought, probably somebody did that. I don't know if a demon could do that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they got restrictions that they can't,
Yeah, but they can move objects, I think.
they can, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because they can make pictures and stuff rattle on the wall and things like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sure they can do
They
that.
can make a towel lift up
They can
beside the
slam
toilet
doors.
and
Yeah.
float in there.
Yeah.
That's what Scott's seen is something I don't ever want to see. You heard about that?
The TV thing?
No, this towel.
Oh no.
Tell Kaylee your story.
Listen to this.
Well, which you talking about the old house that all that stuff happened when I was a kid?
Yeah, that towel floating.
Yeah. We were playing Scrabble, and we kept the little tiles in a sock, and we would reach in the sock and grab our tiles whenever we need them, to replace them. And Mom, Dad, my sister, my brother, and me were all around around the thing, and all of a sudden the sock lifted up in the air and was floating behind my mom and dad. And I'm like, and it fell right back down before they could even see it. And I said the sock was floating in there behind y'all, and Dad's like, well, it's gravity, it's just natural gravity pull. And I'm like, oh, okay, my dad knows, so I believed him. So I was walking down the hallway one night, and I looked into the bathroom. Something made me look. I'm like, why am I? I just stopped and I looked in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, a white towel that was beside the taller than the cabinetry, lifted up and just started floating in the air. And the other thing we had was when I was in my room, I had a half bath, which had a toilet and a sink. And I could hear breathing, real hard breathing coming out of the bathroom. My room was dark. We kept a hall light on, but they shut our doors except for a crack. And that thing breathed in my face, and I ran in there and I said, "There's something breathing." And my dad, of course, says, "That thing breathing is the pipes. Don't worry about it, just the pipes." And I said, "Okay."
It's the gravity in the pipes,
Yeah,
right?
the pipes are sweating. And I said, "Okay." So I went back in there, and probably a couple minutes later, I hear that thing breathe again, but it's not in the bathroom no more. It's halfway between the bathroom and the bed. And I'm like sitting there like, it's the pipes, it's the pipes, it's the pipe. And all of a sudden it was right in my face, and it breathed that real heavy breath sound right in my face. And I jumped out there, and I never went back in that room. I refused to go in that room. So, and yeah, we had, and all this happened when my mom brought a Ouija board in the house. But, of course, it was a game that everybody was playing, and let me tell you, it brought some bad stuff in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That Ouija board will definitely open a portal in your house and let them come in.
No Ouija board for me. No, I'm good. I don't want to play that board game.
Yeah, this house I live in now is constantly, all the houses, there's 6 houses, or no, 8 houses on our little section here, and every one of them have demonic activity in them. The neighbor says while they're watching TV, they can look over in a chair in the corner, and there'll be a little boy in there watching TV with them, and they all see him. They don't communicate with it. It doesn't communicate with them. It just sits there in the chair, and then it'll just disappear. And I said,
okay, why they don't get it out there?
buddy, I'm telling you, if I see one, I'm gone. I have never seen nothing, physically, but if I did, I would move, because that's
that face on your TV.
Oh yeah. That thing when I told it to leave the house in the name of God, you must leave this house now. And all of a sudden, everything seemed to be normal. And I came in the living room, was watching TV, and then that face came on the TV. Yeah. It was pissed, I guess, because it knew it had to leave. When you command it to leave in the name of God, it will leave. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that they won't come back, because
you made it angry.
I was laying in the bed the other night, and it takes me a while to fall asleep. I'll just shut my eyes and I'll just lay there on the pillow, and I was by myself, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I felt the cover jerk. I mean, I jumped out of that bed. I'm like, what the heck? So something, and the other day the light, I could see underneath the door where the light shines through in the bedroom, and I had all the lights out, and all of a sudden I could see a light on, and under the door I could see that somebody had turned a light on. So I figured my ex was came home from bingo or something, and I opened the door and nobody was there. And then I went ahead and left the dining room light on. And when she came home, I heard her slam her door. I looked, and all the lights were out again. So they turn them off, they turn them on. They want to interact with you, and if you act interested, you'll be sorry, because they will interact with you, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
It's kind of like don't give them place.
Do not give them place. I was watching Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and all these ghost things, and that's when it started interacting in this house. And I heard it talk to me. It talked to my daughter. It was a man's voice, and literally sitting here one night in the living room watching TV, and I hear the doorknob turn, and I know it's locked. I locked it has deadbolt, a regular door lock, and then the glass storm door has got a lock. And all of a sudden I heard that thing turning, the deadbolt, and I thought, what is that? And all of a sudden that door just opened wide open, and I jumped up because I thought somebody's coming in the house, and there wasn't nobody there, nobody around. And the weird thing was the glass door on the storm door was still locked. It opened the door and just opened it up, and you could hear it unlock it.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff goes on in these 8 houses, and we all talk about, the lady that lives next door to us. She said she's got a 2-story house. She said all night long she can hear somebody walking, pacing back and forth on her wooden floor upstairs.
Wow.
Jeez.
And I went over one day and was sitting on the porch with them. I said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "You all believe in ghosts?" She said, I told you. And she was looking at her husband. She said, "I told you we had a ghost in this house." And I said, "Well, I didn't know if you believed in them or not." I said, they're not ghosts, they're demons, and they're acting like whatever, to make a noise so they're there. And I said, "No, it's not a ghost. It's a demon."
Right.
I guarantee.
I was sitting in the front room one night, and I heard Mom. She was outside, and it was dark time, and I heard her say, "Sarah, come here, Sarah." So I told Sarah, I said, "Mom's hollering at you," and she got up and went outside looking for Mom, and then Mom come down the steps. She'd been in the bathroom,
What, Mom?
and Sarah said, "Mom ain't out there."
Yeah. Well, that's like, I told Joel about a few weeks ago that I was asleep and I heard my son say, "Mom." And I woke up and I turned on the light and I said, "What?" Because it was so loud. And then I heard, "Mom," again. And I said, "Well, what?" So I got up out of bed and opened the door, and nope,
Nobody there.
nobody there.
Yeah,
I
they're-
think of people that have that problem and they just continue letting it stay there without, telling,
Right.
the Lord Jesus Christ, that continue to let it stay there. I
Mm-mm.
think the more it does, the stronger it's going to get because it knows that it's welcome.
right.
Because you're
Right.
not trying to get rid of it. So I think that's how they get stronger, is another
Right.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, demons are walking all over this world. They're in your house. They're everywhere. They're
Yeah.
in the stores. Anywhere that you can go, they can go. And they won't do anything until you show interest.
Right.
So if you come home and you got something stacked in your kitchen, like dishes stacked in a pile, and you make comments about it and say, "Oh my God, I think we got a poltergeist here," it will start acting to you. I'll let you know it is there.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people don't understand too. They think that if you just rebuke it, that it's gone. A preacher the other night was talking about that. You got weak ones and you got strong ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes a little more of you
Yeah.
being pushy with it to get rid of it
That's
than
true.
to just say, "Be gone in Jesus' name."
right,
He
That's
said
true.
they can challenge you. They can challenge your faith.
Mm-hmm.
right,
And there was 2 preachers that went to a house to do an exorcism, and they found out that inside of this house, these were 2 Catholic priests that have done numerous exorcisms. They found out the lamp in the corner was the host of the demon.
Right.
Wow.
So they started exorcising the lamp.
I didn't know this is what we were talking about.
This lamp wrapped the cord around the dude's neck, the preacher, and hung him out the window.
Wow.
He
That's
died.
terrible.
It's crazy. Yeah,
So-
poltergeist is probably the worst of the worst.
Sarah's one of her boyfriends at one time, he dabbled in that stuff, and I used to always threaten to throw salt on him because it freaked him out. But
I was
Keep
that
talking about
stuff.
this.
Another place we was talking about going back to was the old home place. Y'all remember that place?
Yeah.
where the guy packed up and moved and everything.
Yeah, I think I do.
Where
I
I
think
got
the only
thorns all
thing-
on my leg.
Yeah, I think the only thing we've seen down there was an orb, wasn't it? I think that's all we've ever caught there.
Not whenever we went the very, very first time. I think we got something the very first time that we went. But
Because
the
they
second
talk
time
about
we
it
didn't.
like it was a really hot spot. And I don't think we've ever got real scared there, though, have we? Not real scared.
Just real scared whenever we went in, whenever it was really dark. We walked in when it was dark, and we got turned around and had to find our way out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, that would be scary. What about the graveyards y'all went to? Didn't y'all get some stuff happening there?
A little bit. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I think probably the worst place that we're going to go to is where Mom was hit with that rock. I think we're going to go back there.
Would
I've
you
never-
compare that place or the paranormal place the worst for you?
Yeah, I'd like for y'all to go back to the paranormal place just to see if anything happens again.
That would be two different scary places for me. Where Mom was hit with the rocks, that was physical. That was Bigfoot. It was the whistling. You could hear them running. The spot with the paranormal, it's a spiritual scary.
Right.
I would say they're both as scary as one as the other, just in different ways, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to be able to this year go stay at the Crescent Moon Hotel for everybody. Me and Sarah and Kaylee and Mom and
I don't do ghosts.
everybody go there and stay.
Come on, Kaylee, take one for the team. Come on.
I think if we do that though, we need to have Mom stay at a different hotel.
I'll stay at a different hotel.
Really?
Yeah,
that
I mean we'd have so the boys aren't there around it.
Oh, I figured so. Whenever you chickened out, you could go over there.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
But no, because like my two boys will go, and I don't want them around that kind of stuff.
No, absolutely
I'll
not.
stay and babysit with Nan.
Yeah, I think that we need to go to that motel and we need to take the tour of the motel and the underground tour and show everybody the motel tour, the underground, the city tour, show everybody all that.
I want to do the underground tour.
Huh?
You're thinking ghosts.
I want to do the underground tour.
That's what I try to tell Kaylee. She thinks
No,
that's ghosts, but it's all the same thing.
like I know it's connected, but I would rather deal with something physical than something.
She'll go with me if I go.
Sarah, we don't know that.
But the
I
Yeah,
physical-
Sarah.
Yeah.
I chicken out when it comes to demons. Okay.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, I think, is they think that the Bigfoot's not a demon. But to me, and this is my opinion, the Bigfoot is a demon. He's just has a physical body.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Sarah outside of a car, Sarah inside of a car.
Mm-hmm.
She's still Sarah if she's driving a car or if she's walking.
Right.
Right.
And if you kill this creature, you haven't really killed the creature because that demon now can still follow you home.
I'm not
Yeah.
joking.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
you can kill the body, but you can't kill the spirit. And I think God kind of talks about that, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid of he who can kill the body, but be more afraid of him that can kill the soul.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
So
something like that.
that's what they, it's interesting what they are and where they come from.
Mm-hmm.
They are, I think, very intelligent,
Yeah.
very deceiving. Everybody says the biggest trick that Satan played on everybody was making everybody believe that he doesn't exist.
Well, I know
Yeah.
because I'm intelligent. That's why I stay away from
You know.
them.
That's been
Because-
evident to us for the past few months, hasn't it? That he's real.
Kaylee just reminded me of what a preacher said the other day. There was a
I
lady
agree,
talking
Sarah.
to a preacher, and she said,
I said Bigfoot.
that's why I don't go around them. And you know what the preacher told her? You're around them every day, no matter where you are.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
But the Bigfoot's the same.
I know, but I don't go to physical beings.
But the physical is the spiritual in these.
I know. But
You
I
can
don't
walk
go-
by a possessed person when you're inside a Walmart and not know it.
Oh,
You could have
absolutely.
spoken to one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ask Brooke, Sarah, about people screaming at her.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know. I've heard her tell that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, and that you know, I'm just driving down the street and turning a corner, and this guy has his window down and just looks at me and goes, "Ah," as loud as he could. I mean, it's
You imagine
crazy.
that?
Mm-mm.
That
Yeah.
freaked me out, especially, think
Yeah.
about something, you're up close and personal with somebody in Walmart and they just randomly look over and scream at you.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
there was a lady on her porch, and I was driving by, and I looked over at her, and she did the same thing. She looked at me and just, ah, I'm just going,
Yeah.
what? Well, I
remember
knew
the
what.
story that Tracy told about her encounter in Walmart.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
she told
try-
that was crazy.
You
yeah.
need to carry
He's
a
trying to
paint gun.
bite her.
Carry a
Yeah.
paintball gun with you. When they scream, just shoot them in the head with the paintball.
Mhm.
See if it goes through or if it splatters.
That would
Right.
be going in her mouth.
You know, there was a guy talking the other day. They were talking about, people walking down the street saying that a lot of people say, well, they're mentally retarded or they're high on drugs and they're talking to themselves. That one preacher said, make no mistake, they're having a conversation with something.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me goosebumps when he said
Yeah.
that. He said, they're talking to
Right.
something. You're just not seeing it.
Right.
Exactly. Well, it's like that video of that guy on the bus that somebody was filming him because he was talking to himself. And so they were videotaping him, and all of a sudden you see this little creature sitting looking out the window, and then there's one right behind him. That is
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
That's really creepy.
I read a story today. I want your all's opinion on this. There was a guy that was dying, and he told his son, he said, I'm going to come back when I die, and I'm going to go out there to the barn, and I'm going to ring the bell. They had a big, huge bell out there. He said, I'm going to ring it 6 times every night for a week.
And then it's 6 times.
The guy passed away, and he rang that damn bell every night for a week. The guy recorded it.
Okay. So what that is a demon was right there when he said that. So
Yeah.
when he died and he left his body, and he either went to heaven or hell, then a demon took over and was ringing the bell because they can hear everything you're saying and they can do anything.
They
So-
can't hear what you think, but they can hear you.
I'm sure it was a demon.
I
No.
wonder, whenever we pray, do they hear our prayers?
I don't believe so. I think only God hears our prayers.
Hmm.
I've wondered that before because whenever I'll go to pray sometimes, I'll say, Lord, please make this conversation between me and you. Just me
Yeah.
and you.
Yeah, I don't think God gave them that ability to know what you're thinking. Only God knows what you're thinking.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think they like being around prayers.
No,
Right.
no. It's just like a graveyard. They said they don't hang around in graveyards because it's all dead. It's just dead bodies in coffins. So there's nothing to really haunt or anything. But when people walk up there and go to it and start filming, they like I say, they're everywhere. And they can interact with you at that time, but it's not a ghost coming out of the grave.
I'll tell y'all something I learned. I bet you'll think this is pretty interesting. Whenever I was doing a investigation in a little town around here, the mayor asked me to come, and he introduced me to the preacher of the town. And he said, a cemetery and a graveyard are 2 different things.
they are.
A graveyard is hallowed ground by a church. A cemetery, he said, is not hallowed ground. He said
Right.
you won't find a demon in a graveyard because that is blessed ground. But a cemetery, he said, is not a graveyard. And I thought, man, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I go to Tennessee, to Gatlinburg, I go to Cates Cove, and there's the church there, and there's all the gravestones all around the church. And they call it a graveyard. They don't call it a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
And earlier, I think we're going to have to take a trip to, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Kanawha, Oklahoma. There's a grave there of Catherine Cross, a headstone that says murdered by human wolves.
Wow.
I would like to go investigate that.
Yeah, that would be something to see.
What was her name? Catherine Cross?
Catherine Cross.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I know it. Me too. I'll find a grave.
I'm not going to say the name of this guy because I don't want somebody else to grab this story before I put it out. But a very famous YouTuber supposedly was abducted by the little creatures that Sarah found in Alaska.
Really?
He is a very famous YouTuber. He does nothing with ghosts or monsters, never mentions them. And they say he's not even talking about it right now.
Wow.
So I'm going to be looking into that.
That'd be interesting.
Those little things are creepy. I've been doing some research on those little things, and woo.
Well, they look like black-eyed kids to me, with a paper face. I mean, the face don't even look normal.
They are weird looking, man.
Right.
Weird creatures.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to run into them.
If I hear a knock on the door and I look out the window and it's a black-eyed kid, I'm going to try to poke him in his eyes to see if he knows if it hurts or not.
Well, they say if you go to this one part of Alaska, I forget where it is now, but they have like a specific name for them up there. And anyway, they said if you're like a tourist and you're out there and you're exploring in the mountains or whatever and you get turned around, then you'll have these like little humans come up. And they'll look like humans and everything. And then they'll ask you, are you lost? Do you need help? We can take you to our camp. You can get warm. And then when the people say yeah, what they actually do is they lure you further into the mountains. And then they tie you up limb from limb to a tree and either beat you to death with sticks. They throw stones at you until you die. But as they do this, or before they do all this, they go and they put on what I call like their animal mask, because it's like skulls of animals.
Wow.
And they wear that while they're doing it, and they're laughing, they're singing, and then they say that they just leave you there to return back to the wild or the universe.
Huh.
So don't go in the wood with little people.
Recycle you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Alaska's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pure wilderness.
Every bit of it.
Yeah. So no telling what's in there.
And look at Port Lock, where the whole town disappeared. I mean, they left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left everything.
They started having people die pretty fast there.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were missing and dying, and they just got out of there. And it was supposedly a really big cannon salmon plant up there that they had made, where they could can salmon, and too much stuff started happening, and they left.
Yeah.
And most of them reported that it was hairy men, so I guess Bigfoot was the main problem there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Taking all of his fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Taking his food source.
Right.
That's creepy.
Well, guys, that's about all I got, unless I'm just going to say, What are y'all's thoughts on bringing back the boots on the ground?
You bet. I
Yes.
wished I was there to go with you.
I think that's
We're
going
gonna
to
have
be
to
the.
plan it where Brooks can come down here and go with us one time.
But we'll
Yeah,
just
that-
get down there earlier when we do the convention at the lake.
Yeah,
We'll just come down a couple of days earlier, and y'all can take us around everything.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
You gonna swing by and get me, Scott?
No, because you're down below me.
Yeah, but you can just swing down here and get me.
Make a circle.
Well, I'll see if my private jet can. Do you got a landing strip by your house?
Sure do.
Okay. Well, I have
Yep.
my private jet fly and pick you up.
Good, cause they just now made it for Learjet, so
Well,
you're
no,
good.
this thing hovers. My plane hovers. It's round. It's
Oh, you got an Osprey? Is that what you got?
just go on, walk up the ladder, and go on in it, and then he'll take you
Okay.
to Mike's house.
Okay.
Is that the one Bigfoot's driving?
Yes. Don't pay attention to the hairy man driving.
That's the butler.
Yes. Yes.
I may have to take a bus to get there. It'll take me a week.
How far are you away from Mike?
I'm about 9 hours, I think, is what it is. And
And
I think
it's
you're,
probably,
and that's about what you are your way.
think-
Is about
yeah, I
9
think it
hours.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I got to go all the way through the bottom of Indiana and then go
Yeah.
into St. Louis, Missouri, and travel over that way.
Yeah. See, I'd have to go through, hit Amarillo, go through eastern New Mexico, and then hit through Amarillo and go up that way.
Yeah, you got to go through the whole state of Oklahoma to get to him, and I don't have to go through the whole state because I'm more closer to where he's at when
Yeah,
I'm coming my way.
And believe me, Oklahoma roads are terrible. I
They
do
are.
know
Yes,
that.
they are.
They're bad.
That's
Sure.
why Mike has 10-ply tires.
That's it. Yeah, 'cause they are. They're terrible roads.
They are bad. Even the toll road. The last time I was on a toll road in Oklahoma, if you had to pay to get on that sucker, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Beat you to death. Be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that U-Haul.
Yeah, you think the toll roads will be gone, but they're still around.
Yeah.
And they've made all of our bridges toll bridges except for 2 of them. And I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 bridges we got going across Louisville, all the way up east, and then all the way going not east. Yeah, no, north, going up north and then coming down south. There's 4 bridges, and they towed. I think they put a tow on 2 of them, which were the most heaviest ones.
Did they get the truck off that bridge?
Yeah, they got the truck off the bridge without losing anything. That's amazing.
Wow.
They said there was 30 firefighters from all over. I mean, they came from everywhere to help because
Well, yeah.
God was holding that truck there. There was nothing to hold it.
That was crazy.
She is a lucky lady, and
Yeah.
and it wasn't her fault. There was a car on the bridge that swerved over and hit her truck and pushed it up going over the bridge.
Oh my word.
Yeah, she was just driving down. All of a sudden, her whole truck jerks and goes right over the bridge. I couldn't even imagine what she was thinking looking down at that. I mean, if that would have went
She was
down in the water,
praying.
yeah.
God was watching over her.
Yeah. I'd be saying, Lord, I'm coming just any minute. Just Lord,
Yeah.
make it quick.
Yeah.
I don't go in the Ohio River. I don't fish it. I just don't. It's just dirty to me.
Mm.
Man. Well, Sarah's going to be hopefully getting our permanent logo done. We're working on that. We're still in the trials of getting our logo. I think we're close. I think we like what we got. We just need to add a few things.
Yeah.
The boots on the ground.
You're just picky.
Yeah, and so somehow we gotta find out how to get it in a smaller format so that the whole picture will fit inside of the bubble.
Thumbnail. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to figure that out. However they do that, that's going to be something we're going to have to work on.
Well, let me know when you do that. I'll see if I can get some mugs made up with that logo.
Okay. All right. Well, Sarah, I'm going to let Sarah, Brooks, Kaylee, and Scott, and then I'll go. And We want to thank everybody, though, for watching us tonight, for sure. But, Sarah, go ahead and start us on the way out.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. It was great getting to talk to Brooks and Scott. As always, I hope that you guys have a great night. God bless y'all. Thank you for the continued support for Hunter and my family, and all the prayers that you guys have been giving out. We love each and every one of you, and thank you. Good night.
Yes, we appreciate everybody here. Glad to see Scott here. But thank you for your support. This wouldn't be possible if we didn't have you, the subscribers. So thank you.
Well, I hope y'all like this new thing that we tried out, and we hope you enjoy it. We're blessed and thankful for each and every one of you. I'm glad that we all got to join tonight and got to be able to chat and tell our stories. And I hope y'all have a good and blessed night. And excuse you. God bless.
My turn.
Your turn.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for their support, and especially the support for Hunter to bring him home. And we appreciate you, love y'all, and thanks for all the support you give us.
Yeah, I especially want to thank everybody for the support for bringing Hunter home. The Purple Hearts, they just they melt my heart every time I see them. It's been 6 months now. It's been a long fight and probably a longer fight ahead. But it's a fight we're not going to stop fighting. And we appreciate your support and being able to do it. I've learned a lot of things here lately. I wish they weren't the way they are, and that I have no control over other people and what they do, unfortunately. But this premiere tonight, we wanted to do this to be able to spend time with you guys on a video, to interact more with our subscribers. Y'all are family, and if this works out and y'all like it, it may be something we do on our Wide Open Adventures channel also. We may do some premieres over there, talk about some fishing, some hunting, canning, gardening, farming, all that other stuff. I really enjoyed the live on Wide Open Adventures the other night. With a lot of laughing, and there ain't been a whole lot of that lately, and I think we could use a lot more of that in our community.
Yes.
But man, there's so much backstabbing right now.
Yeah.
And so much deceit that it's hard to even know who your friends are or what they are. Or it's
at this point you can't trust anybody.
No, it's sad. It's sad.
It's horrible.
But they are definitely wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yes.
And we know now who some of the wolves are. And what we're going to keep doing is just keep building our channel, keep growing, keep succeeding in what we do. And the channel belongs to God. All glory is to God.
Amen.
Without God, there would be none of this. And with God, Hunter's coming home. And with the support of you guys, it's going to make a huge difference in bringing him home. I want to try to release this premiere tomorrow night, guys, to where 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I want to try to go ahead and edit it tonight. We'll release it tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And we will all visit with you all in the chat. And again, thank you all so very much for your support and all the donations for Hunter, the presents and gifts that's been sent to him through the P.O. box and the donations. We just we can't be thankful enough. So until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And watch out for those wolves, because they're prowling and they're hungry. We'll see you on the next one, guys.
Goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.